Hi guys, Casper MMA here, and today we are back with another OKTAGON predictions video on the channel. Today I'm giving my predictions for OKTAGON 62, Eckerlin versus Jungwirth. Now, in the last two OKTAGON events, I've done pretty well on predictions. We've been got some underdog picks correct. We've only lost like a couple matches overall, so we've been pretty successful so far. And it looks like I've got another pretty stacked card this weekend, so I'm looking forward to getting into it. But before I do that, make sure if you're not already and you are enjoying this content, you go down below and hit that subscribe button. It's free and it's really appreciated. So we have 11 fights on the card, and we kick things off with the first prelim of Dennis Ilbay versus Michael Deiga-Scheck. Now, I do have to warn you, I'm going to mispronounce every name on this card, so just be prepared for that. But we start off with Ilbay, 22-3 pro boxing record. He looks a pretty decent fighter, to be fair. Lost by armbar to Corey Fry, but apart from that, he's won a few fights by ground and pound. He won by bulldog choke as well. So he looks a decent fighter, to be fair, overall. I mean, he's obviously a good boxer as well. 22-3 in that. Most of his wins coming by KO as well in MMA, so 6-1 there. Michael Deiga-Scheck, on the other hand, 38, so he's pretty old now, to be fair, but he has still winning fights. I mean, he's doing a bit of boxing and that. He's won his last two MMA fights as well. He won his last one in OKTAGON by left hook in round 1. Lost to Lengal, who we actually picked on a different card. But yeah, he's actually got a decent record to face. Still winning fights, even though he's quite old now. So should be a fun fight, this one. Can't really. It could go either way, really. You can see Ilbay getting a knockout. You can see like he's a lot younger. He's almost 10 years younger age, but I do think Deiga-Scheck is going to win this one, I mean, I don't know what the odds are. Might be an underdog, I'm not sure. But I think Deiga-Scheck is going to get this submission, and I think he gets it in round number 2. Now, moving up the card too. Nafuka versus Arijan Topallaj. Now, this is a fun fight. Nafuka is 9-1 from Namibia, I think that is. I'm not really sure. Somewhere in Africa, I think that's flag is. Topallaj is from Albania, 7-0 and 1, so undefeated so far. Lots of wins by, well, pretty sure all of his wins by finish as well, so he's a very dangerous fighter. A lot of KOs as well. Nafuka, 9-1, only one loss coming against in 2024 against Bogdanovic, but since then he got a submission win. Quite a lot of submission wins, to be fair. He looks decent, so it should be a fun fight, this one. Two prospects, really. Both got like decent records as well, so I have to pick one of them. So I think it could go either way again, but I'm going to go to Palasz, the undefeated man. I reckon he gets this done, and I think he's going to find the KO in round number 1. Now, moving up the card again too, Pavel Langer versus Will Fleury. Now, Pavel Langer, 13-10. I'm not sure what his age is. I'm guessing he's getting on a bit now, but yeah, he was a champ. Won the belt against Popek, but then lost it by KO to Vemola. But then he's come back with a win by KO in round number 1 in his last fight. So he's got he's not a bad fighter. He has got a lot of losses on his record, but he has fought quite high level opponents in OKTAGON and stuff like that. So yeah, he's not had the best record recently, but he's still dangerous. He sort of proved that in his last fight. Will Fleury from Ireland, 12-3. He's on a pretty long unbeaten streak. He had a no contest in PFL, but I mean, he won his last fight by submission. He won the title in UAE Warriors as well. So he looks a pretty decent fighter. Hasn't lost since 2020. So I'm going to go Fleury here. I think he's the younger fighter. I'm not sure. It's probably close on age. It doesn't show me on this website, but yeah, I do think Will Fleury has got the better form coming into this one. He's a lot more wins, so I think he's going to carry that in, and I think he gets the job done by decision. Now, moving up the card too, Machaev versus James Hendin. Now, Machaev, I don't know how you say his name, man. It's like Machaev from Austria, 14-2, so pretty decent record. Did lose his last fight to Eckerlin Duque, who was actually headlining OKTAGON 61, I think, last week against Paradisa. But yeah, that's not the worst loss. It was a decision. But since that, before that, he'd won quite a few. He lost to Magomed by KO, but he's had a lot of finishes, to be fair, in like UAE Warriors and a couple of promotions. He was 5-0 in XFN. So only 2 losses as well on the record, like his opponent. What's his name again? I forgot. James Hendin, 9-2, so also 2 losses. But the German man is on a 3-fight winning streak, all finishes as well. I mean, he lost against John Vucenic in we fought for the title at Cage Warriors, but we know Vucenic's pretty good. We saw him in the UFC. His only other loss came to Paul Hughes, but yeah, he has a few good wins, to be fair, in Cage Warriors, and he won his first fight in Octagon as well. So I think I'm going to go with James Hendin to get this done. I mean, it's 2 pretty good guys, to be fair, both with good records, but I do think Hendin is going to get the job done here. I don't think he's got some more impressive wins and stuff on his record, some more impressive fights. So I'm going to go with Hendin to get this job done by decision. Now, moving up the card too. Katarina Dalisda versus Mallory Martin. Now, Dalisda, 11-3, currently defending a belt here. It's a second or first title defense, I think. I think it's the second, I'm pretty sure. She is on a 5-6 fight winning streak at the minute. Quite a few finishes in there as well, so she hasn't lost since 2021. So she's pretty good, to be fair. Mallory Martin, on the other hand, 9-6, not the best record, 30 years of age. All of the losses really come by decision. She was 1-3 in the UFC as well. Only win against Hannah Cyphers, lost against all the good competition. So then she actually lost to Dalisda back in 2022 as well by decision. So I think it's a pretty easy pick here. I'm going to pick Dalisda. She's going to defend her belt here. She's going to win the rematch. And I think Dalisda gets the job done by decision. Now, moving up the card to the main card now. Max Holzer versus Mohamed Sadok Trabelsi. Now, Max Holzer, undefeated, 8-0, is a pretty good fighter. I mean, 6 of them wins coming by submission as well. His last 3 all coming by a rear naked choke. I mean, he's on a 4-fight finishing streak at the minute. I mean, he's pretty good. He beat Alexander Luster as well by split decision, and we saw he's really good as well. Saw how good he was on the last card. So he's got some good wins as well. Sardari, Corey Fry. So Holzer is a pretty good fighter. Trabelsi, on the other hand, not as great record, 12-7. Is coming off a win, but before that, he's had 2 losses in a row. He's he never gets a winning streak. He loses 1, wins 1, loses 1. So I think it's a pretty easy pick here. I will go Max Holzer. He looks really good. Awesome prospect, 8-0. And I reckon he's going to get a finish here. Holzer is going to get submission in round number 1. Now, moving up the card to Lazar Todev versus Adam Palasz. Definitely not how you say that. It's Polish. It's got some weird line through the L. Don't know how you say it, but Palasz, 9-3. Actually already fought to Todev back in 2023. Lost a unanimous decision. But since then he won 1 and then lost 1 in his last fight to Stuart Austin. But he's got a lot of finishes. This guy does not go to decision often. So that loss to Todev the first time was pretty unlikely. But Todev, 10-6. But not as great record. But he has had more recent wins. He won by KO in his last fight to Dos Santos. I mean, before that he lost a decision, but then he won by submission. I mean, he's a pretty good fighter, Todev. He has got a few losses though in his record. He's got had a few kickboxing matches as well, but most of his losses coming on early in his career, so he's getting better as he's going. So it's a tough one to pick, but I do think Todev is going to get this rematch. He's going to get He's going to get the win. It could go to decision, but I do think Todev, he's had a lot of finishes, coming off finish as well. If he's going to find the finish this time, and I think Todev is going to get the KO in round number 3. Now, moving up the card to Nico Samsonidse versus Daniel Torres. Now, definitely butchered that name, Samsonidse. Definitely not how you say it, but I'm going to go with that. 10-3, German man. 6 wins by submission. He is pretty dangerous there. His last fight was against Lucien Keita, who he got KO'd by, but that's fair enough. Keita is pretty good. Before that, only one of he got injured in one of his fights, but he's had a lot of wins, to be fair. Since then, he's 2-1 in Cage Warriors as well. He looks a pretty decent fighter. Daniel Torres, on the other hand, from Austria, 15-6, a pretty good record, a lot of fights. He was the champion in KSW, and then he lost the belt. But then since then, he's beat Lengal in Octagon. Then he lost to Paradesa, who was on the last card. So he's not too bad, really. He's got a pretty decent record overall. Quite a lot of wins by KO and decision. So again, two good fighters here, but I think Daniel Torres is going to get the job done. You know, he's been there, he's up in the championship level at KSW. I think he's going to come in here, and I think Torres is going to get this job done by decision. Now, moving up the card too, Max Coga versus Anton Racic. Now, both these guys have a lot of fights between them. 26 and 8 versus 27 and 11. So both these guys, veterans of the game, they've got a lot of fights. What's his face? Racic. He's coming off a win against Nuno Costa. Before that, he had the belt in KSW. Beat Bruno Santos. Beat Stasiak. He's got a lot of decision wins, to be fair, and submission. So he's a pretty good fighter. Max Coga, on the other hand, 26 and 8. I mean, it's like pretty similar record, really. He is on a 3-fight winning streak, to be fair. Had the belt. I mean, he's had a few belts, to be fair, in all these different promotions. He was meant to fight Morgan Charrier at one point, but that got cancelled. And now he actually fought. Yeah, he lost. He actually lost to Daniel Torres, who's on this card as well. Lost to Jano Aarons, who was in the UFC. But yeah, he's got a decent record, to be fair. Lost against some high-level opponents, but he's on a 3-fight winning streak, 2 by finish as well. So both these guys are pretty good, to be fair. I'm not sure how old Max Coga is, to be fair. I didn't actually check. 35, so it's 35 versus 34. So both guys getting on a bit, but they're still at the top level. So I'm going to pick Coga to get this job done. I mean, it's close, could go either way, but I do think Max Coga on the 3-fight winning streak is going to take that confidence into this fight, and he's going to get the job done by decision. Now, moving up the card to the co-main event. Patrick Kincl, definitely butchered that, Kincl, no idea how you say that, versus Karim Engizek. Yep, butchered both their names somehow. But Patrick Kincl, 28 and 10, 35 years of age. I mean, he's defended his belt 3 times already. I mean, he's a pretty good fighter. Only lost to Soldic by KO a while ago in 2021, but since then, 4-fight winning streak, got the belt back and stuff. So this guy is pretty good. I mean, 13 wins by KO, 7 by submission, 7 wins by decision. I mean, you can't really knock him there. Karim Engizek, 20 and 4, a lot of fights as well. He is 33 years of age. Most of his wins coming by KO, so this guy's dangerous. He's on a massive winning streak at the minute. He's on a 14 win streak, which is crazy. I don't know about the level of competition he's really been facing. Like, his title defenses haven't been against really great opponents, like, to be honest. But still, he shows good that he's like winning all these games, to be fair, winning those matches. But since he's joined Cage Warriors, he is 3-0, all by KO. So it's a dangerous matchup for Kincl here. But I do think that Patrick Kincl is going to defend his belt. It'll be tough. It could go. I would maybe sprinkle some money on Engizek by KO, but I will be going with Kincl to get the job done by submission in round number 2. Now, moving at the card to Christian Eckerlin versus Christian Jungwirth. Now, the main event. Eckerlin 16 and 6, just coming off a win against Broz by KO. Before that, he had a decision loss, but before that, he was on a long winning streak. He had he's won a lot of fights by finish. He doesn't go to decision often, only 2 decisions. He's won in his career. Christian Jungwirth, on the other hand, 15 and 8, not as impressive record really. He is coming off a win against Puckak, but he did lose before that to submission by John Palaglogos, who's not that great. But so he's had a few wins, but he's had a few not great losses as well. He lost to Broz, who Eckerlin actually beat. It's a tough one for Jungwirth, this fight. I mean, he's like, Eckerlin's pretty good. I mean, he's coming off a win, but I do think that Eckerlin is going to be better in this fight. I mean, he's shown he's just a really good fighter. Only lost once by decision, and he's since like bloody 2017. So like, yeah, Eckerlin's a pretty good fighter. I'm going to pick him here, and I reckon gets the submission in round number 1. So there we have it. There are my picks for Octagon 62. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of my picks. And that's all for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, maybe leave a like, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.